Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Girl Be Selfish podcast. My name is Chanel McCord, and I am the CEO and clinical director of Oasis Wellness Group, which is a mental health practice and advocacy agency located in South Jersey. I am also the Girl Be Selfish podcast host. I am an author, I am a speaker, and I am a conference host. And I am so excited to be back with you all for another episode of Girl Be Selfish. Listen, we've been going through some amazing authors of the Girl Be Self-ish Anthology project. It's been so rich, y'all. It's been so good. Everybody has an amazing story. Everybody has amazing perspectives on what self-care is and what their self-care journey has been. And today is no different. I have another amazing, phenomenal woman and contributing author to the Girl Be Selfish Anthology project. I'm going to introduce her in a second. But before I introduce her, I want to ask the infamous question that I've been asking. Why have you not gotten the book yet? Listen to me. If you have not purchased your copy of Girl Be Selfish, I need you to go ahead. I need you to go to Amazon. I need you to get a copy. Iesha is going to tell you how you can get a copy from her a little bit later, who is our guest speaker for today. But listen, after today's podcast, I am 100% sure that you are going to be sure that you need a copy of this book. So without delay, make sure, go to Amazon, go to the websites, do what you have to do and get your copy of Girl Be Selfish. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to pass it over to our esteemed guest today, Miss Iesha Vigo. Hello, Iesha. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, and I'm doing even more wonderful now that I get to have this conversation with you today. I am super excited. Can you introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about you?
Well, again, my name is Iesha Vigo. I am the CEO of Wife Life. I am an author. I am a mom. I've been married for 30 years, and I'm an educator, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm so grateful and thankful to you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you. So you said that you are the CEO of Wife Life. Can you tell the people what Wife Life is?
Yes, ma'am, I can. So, Wife Life is an organization that I created to be a support and a help to wives who are silently struggling on the inside. And so, what I do is I provide a safe space for wives to come together, to be empowered, to be lifted up, to be encouraged to be the best wife that they can be when they are facing adversities in their marriage. Even when they feel like they don't know who they are, we come together and we help each other rediscover who we are. And I give them a space to help them find their voice.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so you heard it, folks. Listen, wives out there, listen up. Y'all know being a wife is a hard job, right? Being a wife is not an easy job. It is a fulfilling role, but it's not an easy job. And so what I love about what Iesha has done is she created a whole organization, a whole coaching program that she dedicates to wives and helping you to be the best wife that you can be through layers of forgiveness, through layers of even self-care, which we're going to talk about today. So that is so powerful. And so wives, if you are looking for a place of support, if you're looking for a support system, if you're looking for somewhere where you could just talk about the woes of marriage, right? In a safe place, right? Because one thing Iesha said that stuck out to me is a safe place. Because how many know? I'm going to go there for a second. How many know that mama in them ain't always the safe place for you to be able to process and talk about your marriage?
Not always.
Sometimes it's not your bestie in them either, right? Sometimes you need a place that you can go to where nobody knows you, nobody knows your spouse, and that you're able to process and do the work. So I think Wife Life is an amazing organization that you want to tap into. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank
you.
So,
Miss Iesha, the question of the day that I always ask people, we always get started with the conversation with, what is your definition of self-care?
Well, for self-care, for me, it encompasses a lot of things. I like getting my nails done. I like getting pampering myself. Those are just the surface things. But self-care to me is making sure that my mental, my physical, and my spiritual being is taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I did not always understand, but I found to be an essential part of helping me be who I am today, showing up for myself,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that I am in tune to my health, my wellness, my spiritual man, and my emotions. That's the major part of self-care for me.
Yeah, I love that. You said it's taking care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health. How do you do those things, or what has been your process, right? I never approached this conversation with any of us thinking that we have arrived, because self care is a lifelong journey and it is ever changing. But what has your journey looked like in being able to take care of yourself better when it comes to the mental, the physical, and the spiritual?
For me, it was getting in tune to who I was, listening to what my body was telling me, learning the signs for me of when I was going off course, off track, when my health started failing me, when my attitude started betraying me. I knew something was wrong, something was off course, and I needed to get it right. And I didn't always understand or know what steps I needed to take to fix it. Because, for me in the beginning, like I said, getting my hair done, getting my nails done, getting my pedicures,
Mm-hmm.
those were considered self care.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until, again, I started experiencing some things where I knew that something on the inside of me was not happy. I was really declining in my health, in my mental space, and my attitude. I knew that I needed to find something to help me get back on track. And one of the things that helped me initially was getting reconnected with God,
Mm-hmm.
because I was going through a hardship in my marriage at the time, and I didn't have the support system that I needed. And I didn't have examples that I needed to show me what healthiness looked like.
That's so
We
good.
can go to school and go to gym class and do all of these
So
things,
good.
but I didn't have those examples growing up to show me what real healthy lifestyle should look like, how I should
Mhm.
take care of myself. But when I got reconnected back in church, and I started listening to the message that was talking about love, loving myself, being loved. It was a game changer for me, because
Yeah.
now I had to unlearn some things that I thought was love to me, which were all superficial things,
Mhm.
were all
Mhm.
superficial. But once I took the time to sit there and let my spirit man get healed, get taught, get discipled, get educated, that was the beginning of the breakthrough for me. And once I started in that arena, next became my I want to say my physical health, because I had a lot of things that I were harboring on the inside of me that
Mhm.
was affecting my health, because I was not letting these things out. I didn't,
Mm.
like I said, I didn't have a support system. I didn't know who to talk to. So everything I was burying on the inside, until there were moments where I just would completely lose it and lash out. But
Yeah.
one occasion I needed to go to the doctors because I was faced with a health scare,
Mhm.
and that was the journey for me to start taking care of my physical health, getting to know what my body is telling me, getting my gynecologist appointments, getting my
Mhm.
physical annual wellness appointments, start listening to what my body was telling me and how I can learn to take care of that. And that then translated into me later on finding a therapist.
Mhm.
You talking about God and
Mhm.
therapy?
Mhm.
That was just like, that was the cherry on top of,
Mhm.
the hot fudge sundae,
Yeah.
I needed all those areas in my life to be healed, to be mended, to be addressed, to be acknowledged, so that I could be a better Iesha, because the old Iesha, she was jacked.
That's so real. You said so many good things. So, two things I want to point out. One, you talk about this holistic perspective of self care. You didn't just rely on relaxation. You didn't just rely on therapy, right? You didn't just rely on spirituality, right? You whole holistic perspective where I'm going to take care of mind, body, and soul. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to bathe myself in the word of God. I'm going to get the therapist. I'm going to work on my mental health, but I'm also going to make sure that I'm following up with my doctors and I'm doing what I have to do for my physical health. I think that is so important. And for me, the definition of healthcare, of self-care that I most subscribe to is this holistic perspective, right? Not just focusing on one aspect of you. I spoke on a panel today, and one of the things I said during the panel discussion was you can do one aspect of self-care. You can just do the spiritual, or you can just do the mental, or you can just do the relaxation. The problem is if you only focus on one aspect, when you get up from that aspect, you're going to get back to your regular life and you're going to realize, wait a minute, there's a whole lot that's still jacked up. There's a whole lot that's still wrong. So there's a whole lot more that I have to do, right? And so for us to truly take care of ourselves, we have to be intentional about tapping in a holistic perspective.
Yeah.
But then you also said, I didn't have healthy examples.
Yeah.
Selah. We got to pause there and we got to talk about that, because so many of us learn how to deal with life by what we've always seen. And then we just perpetuate those cycles. And here's the thing, it's so subconscious and it's so unconscious. Like, it's not like, okay, mommy did this, so I'm going to do this. It's like, no, one thing my pastor, our pastor, says all the time is that some things are caught and not taught. And we catch a lot just being around.
Yep.
And so what my marriage looks like is going to be a reflection of what I've seen of marriage, right?
Yep.
How I handle the difficulties is going to be a reflection of what I've seen. How I handle myself and how I take care of myself is going to be a reflection of what I've seen. And if most of us are honest, if we really want to be honest, we haven't had healthy examples, because mama and them is trying to figure it out for themselves. They haven't figured it out. So even you saying the intentionality around, okay, how do I find healthy examples of what a healthy marriage look like, of what a healthy woman looks like?
Right.
We could talk about marriage, but what does a healthy woman look like? And surrounding myself with those examples, so then I have I have a standard.
Right.
Now I have a standard of, oh, this is how a marriage should look. Oh, this is how a wife should be. Oh, this is how a woman who takes care of herself should be, right? And so finding those healthy examples. And so for you, what were some of the things that you did to find healthy examples and to surround yourself with it?
So I have always been pretty intentional about certain people in my immediate circle. For me, as a young kid growing up, so I'll just be very transparent and honest. I grew up in a household where there was a lot of domestic violence, and I've witnessed it between my parents. I've witnessed it between my aunts and uncles. So that was normal for me. So when I was a young girl, I want to say, like, I had an outer body experience, or I had some kind of experience where I had determined in myself, I was talking to myself, somebody was talking to me. I didn't quite have the full understanding that this was not the life I wanted for myself. So I sought out to choose certain people that I wanted to have influence over me. And that was very difficult because, again, I did not have those healthy examples. So when I started looking at people that I wanted to emulate and have as role models, I would see, for example, my cheerleading coach. And she was young, she was vibrant, she was a businesswoman. To me, she appeared successful. She appeared to have had it going on. So I kind of made her like my model, although she didn't know it. I was looking at different TV actors and things and saying, oh, that looks really great, because what they were portraying to me was different from what I was experiencing. So as I got older, And I became connected, in the church, and, had, a relationship with God. Certain people in the church I started looking at, because like words, I'm sensitive to words. So you can
Mhm.
say what you want, but I'm watching what you're doing. And so certain women, certain people I would look at and say, you know what? I like that. I admire that. They're singing it and then they're modeling it. And I would just, glean to them and glean from them. And so that's how it started for me. And then when I started making connections and getting to know them, they really began to have influence and impact in my life. And I was able to further develop and grow from there.
I like it. I like it. I like it. And so, what I hear you saying is that even from a young age, even as a young girl, you looked out for role models and people to emulate and what healthy looked like not just waiting until you're adult because of what you grew up with, because of the things that you saw. So, it sounds like it has just been a lifetime practice for you to find healthy models of whatever it is that I'm striving for and whatever it is I'm looking to achieve. I
Yeah.
think that's so important for so many people, for everyone who's listening, for everyone who's watching. I want you to hold on to that point and making sure, and sometimes it's a lifetime, right? Because we are ever evolving people. So in this season of my life, this may be the mentor that I need. This may be the person that I need. But in the next, as a married woman, I need this.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, as a married woman with children, now I need this,
Right.
and then as a married woman with children, but now my children are older and they're out the house. Now I need that. Like, there are so many aspects of us. It could be career wise, right? What
Mm-hmm.
does it look like to be an entrepreneur? Like, just having healthy examples around us is so important to this idea of self-care. We are a people who are very individualistic. And
Mm-hmm.
we like to try to do things on our own. There is absolutely nothing wrong with getting community.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much healing in community if we would just. Now, here's the thing: you got to find the right community,
Right.
right? Because every community ain't it. But
Gotta
when you
investigate.
listen, you better investigate. You better know what you're getting yourself into,
Mhm.
okay? Because and you can't look at, so many people look at social media and all of this. How many times do we see, just going with the marriage example, we see the picture perfect couple on social media, right? And they're doing the vacations and the husband is doting on the wife and they look like they have this picture perfect life, and then you hear this great scandal or this big blow up or something happens or whatever the case is. So you can't even go by that.
Right.
Like, you have to really get to know people and develop relationship with people to really be able to see, like, oh, okay, like these people are actually model examples. And not only that, not just model examples and what looks great, like they look put together, but model examples and when all hell breaks loose,
What
when
is
things aren't great, that they know how to navigate those seasons and they know how to navigate them well. Like,
Yes.
that is so much important too, for us to learn how to do that. And so I just think that right there is like $1 million answer when you talk about finding people that I can emulate, finding people that give me a standard of what to look forward to. I love that. I love that. So thank you. And for everyone listening, I hope you really held on to those nuggets. And so, as I told y'all, Iesha is one of the esteemed authors of Girl Be Selfish. And she wrote a chapter in the book. I got a chance to read some of the chapter, and let me tell y'all, this is a good chapter. So, Iesha, tell everybody the name of your chapter and then give us some nuggets. Now, don't give it all away because they
Okay.
got to get the book.
Okay.
They got to get the book, but
Okay.
tell us the name and give us some nuggets from your chapter.
So my chapter is called Selfish Wife. And in this chapter, I really talk about using some strategies and tools that God have downloaded to me to help me become a selfish wife. And I just want to say for the record, I know that the term selfish always has a negative connotation that comes with it. But in this conversation, in this series that we're talking about, Girl Be Selfish, we are giving it a positive light because I know for me, being a wife wearing many hats and taking on many roles, I lost myself trying to be
Mhm.
everything to my husband, to my children, to my family members. And I forgot to take care of me. I forgot about me
So
because
good.
my concern was I wanted to be this great wife. I wanted to be this good mom. I just wanted to do all of the things. And I suffered in the process because I forgot to be selfish about myself. And
Mm,
so in this chapter, God helped me to see, what I needed to do to get back in place, to be that wife, show up for myself, love myself, take care of
mhm.
myself. Because if I'm not any good, if I'm not healthy, if
Come
my
on.
spirit man is depleted, if my mental health is out the door, I can't be the wife that my husband needs me to be. I can't be the mother that my children need to be. I
Come on.
can't be any of the things in the business, in ministry, or in anything until I get myself together. And so I don't know how far I can go, but two of the tools that I mentioned in this book
Mhm.
help me to, unpack and get myself together, get back in a healthy state of being so that I can love on me and learn to set healthy boundaries,
Mhm.
which is okay,
Mhm.
women. It's
Come on.
okay to have healthy boundaries to say, listen, this, this needs to be a boundary for me so that I can, love on me, teach you how to treat me, and
Mhm.
teach myself how to continue to maintain what I've established for myself. So
Come
that
on.
way I don't go back to being a hot mess I was.
Come on. Come on. That's so good. And I love how you focus on the reflection of the woman in the mirror, because so many times, especially, like, let's talk about it, when we talk about marriage, so many times our go-to is point the finger at our spouse, right? Our go-to is, and here's the thing, this is not to say that our spouse hasn't been a hot mess. It's not to say that they haven't done some things, but our go-to is you, and until you change, until you do this, until you do that, when sometimes we got to put that mirror right back in our face and say, okay, I don't have the power to change my husband. I don't have the power to change my wife, right? I don't have the power to change my spouse. What I do have the power is to change myself. I can change my response. I can change my reactions. I can look at, okay, what trauma responses am I having? Am I being triggered by stuff that my spouse is not intentionally doing to me, but I'm just being triggered? So now I'm flying off the handle. And he's like looking at me like, yo, like, what the heck is wrong with you?
Right.
Because sometimes, ladies, sometimes wives, the punishment does not fit the crime.
Correct.
Sometimes
Correct.
the punishment does not fit the crime. And so I love how you're taking this as an opportunity to say, okay, wife, let me look at me and see what I need to do for me, right? And so self care is also holding myself accountable.
Absolutely.
Self
Absolutely.
care is also being able to say, no, you were wrong, you came at him the wrong way, or no, you were wrong, like whatever it may be, you need to fix some stuff within ourselves. That is also self-care. And so, like you said, when we talk about this idea of the selfish wife, we're not talking about, oh, it's all about me and no regard for the other person or disregarding other people. But truth of the matter is, the better I am, the better of me you get. So this idea of being a selfish wife is really an idea of being able to show up 100% better for my husband so that he gets a better version of me because I did all the things I needed to do to take care of myself.
Absolutely. And remember, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't grow up in the healthy example. So, with that being said, I had some pretty bad habits, with the whole, because, our black girl magic, we can, roll our heads and snap our
Yes,
fingers and
ma'am.
come back with the comebacks. But I had to learn, there was so much that I needed to learn about
Mhm,
myself and how I respond and how, anger
mhm.
anger is not a fuel that motivates a happy
Come
life.
on. Can you
It's just
say that
not.
again? Did y'all hear that? Anger is not the fuel that motivates a happy life. That is a notable quotable.
It wasn't. And that's what I was fueled off. I was fueled off of anger. And so, I was rough around the edges. I was hard. I was tight. And I was like, I'm broken. I
Mm,
need to be fixed. And
mm.
I needed to do the work. And I needed to acknowledge that I needed to do the work and I was broken. I needed to do the things and acknowledge the things so that I could be in a better place. And I'm glad that I did. I am
So
so
good.
glad that I did. And I'm glad that I get to share that with other women because you know what? We are each other's keeper. We are each other's, we each other's helpers. So I'm
Yeah.
happy that I'm able to do that and share that with, everyone.
Yeah, one of the things I tell my clients all the time and that I view a true mark of healing is when you're able to take what you've learned and then you're able to grab the hand of a brother or sister after you and help to bring them up. I tell
Yeah.
my clients all the time, when you've, and not that we're forever healing, right? But when you've gotten to a place of healing, when now I'm not just so focused on my stuff, right? I'm not just so focused on what's going on with me. And I'm able to say, hey, sis, this is what I've learned. Like, this is what I've been doing. These are the practices that help me. And now you're able to pass that along. And so it speaks a lot to your journey. You just creating this whole wife life coaching program, this wife life movement that you created is indicative of you getting to a place in your journey where you're healing, where
Yes.
you're stronger now. And so now I'm in a better place. So now I can take as many wives with me. And I think that that's so powerful for all of us to hold on to. Don't just get your healing and hold on to it. Take your healing and pay it forward.
Yes. And one of the things I had to learn that that hurt my feelings at first, but it made me a better person was although it was happening to me, it wasn't about me. And at first I was like, whoa, I didn't like that. That was a hard pill to swallow. But I understand it more now than I did initially when I heard it. And I'm compelled more now to
Mhm,
be a helper to my fellow sisters because I do believe that there is so much more in life for us,
mhm,
so much more that we can have, so much more that we can be. I mean, I know that God wants to heal the family, He wants to heal the wife, He wants to heal the husband, He wants to heal the marriage so that we can be an example to the world, right? And so
mhm,
now that I had to put on my big girl pants, right,
mhm.
and walk in it, um, I'm understanding that there's so many people out there who are just lost, so many wives out there who feel so lost, unheard, unseen, and if I could just be a vessel to help someone, to help a wife, listen, hon, I see you, I hear you, I was you,
Come
but there
on.
is a better way.
Come on.
I'm all for it, and I know that I take this very seriously. It was a struggle in the beginning because
Mhm.
I was like, I don't think I could put myself out there, my business. But you know what? What I've learned now is I better open my mouth and cry loud
Come on
and
here.
fear not because somebody else's life is in the balance waiting
Mm,
for what it is that I may have to say. And I might think, they ain't listening to me, but somebody might be.
yeah.
Somebody needs to hear it.
Yeah. Somebody needs to hear it. And I'll just conclude with this point in terms of we all think that we're by ourselves, right? One of the biggest struggles of people is that nobody else is dealing with this. And so by you crying loud and by you sparing not, you're letting somebody else know you're not alone. And not only are you letting somebody else know that you're not alone, you have now become the example that you will want to looking for.
Right. How about that?
How powerful is that?
Wow. Because I didn't even do the math to that.
How powerful
How
is
about
that?
that? Yes.
I was looking for something, and now I've become the example that somebody else can look at and say, Iesha has done it, so I can do this. I can do
Wow.
this right thing. I can endure. I can forgive. I can love. I can, change my responses. You have become, I literally just got goosebumps over that.
Wow.
just right now. You have become the example that you were looking for. Woo! That's
Amen.
so good. That's so good. So, Iesha, how can the people get in touch with you? How can they find you?
So on my social media platform, you can find me at Wife Life LLC on Facebook. You can find me at The Wife Coach on Instagram. You can go to my website which is the official wifelifecoach.com. Um, you can find me. Just type in Iesha Vigo and it's gonna come up. Something's coming up. You're gonna find me.
I know it's right. Listen, everybody. She said it. You are going to find her. Iesha Vigo, the Wife Life Coach. We'll make sure that all of her information is in the show notes so that you're able to contact her. Listen, Iesha will have copies of the Girl Be Selfish book. So you want to contact her so that you can go ahead and that you can get your copy. Listen, her chapter is powerful. And then we have 20 other authors who are just bringing it with just tools and just stories. And so literally what I found in this book is that there's something for everybody, whether you're a wife, whether you're a widow, whether you are a mom, whether you are a single person, whether you just out here, you have health challenges, there is something for everybody when it comes to this topic of self-care. So make sure that you reach out to Iesha, you contact her so that you can get your copy today. And so Iesha, thank you so much for being my guest on today's podcast. I am so excited for everybody to hear this interview because it's going to be a blessing. It
Thank
is
you
truly
so
going
much
to
for
be a
having
blessing.
me.
Thank you so much. And so, everybody, I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Make sure that you tune in next week for another episode with another wonderful contributing author. We are bringing the heat and we are bringing the fire this season of Girl Be Selfish. So make sure that you stay tuned. And as I always say, stay selfish. Bye, everybody. Talk to you soon.